In Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic, beautiful women seemed to be everywhere. But Ivan was an incredibly honest and kind-hearted man. He worked as a chef and had never looked at any woman other than his wife, Alice. That day was Ivan's son's birthday. He was waiting for his father-in-law to come and help carry some things home. However, the older man was too busy having fun with his young mistress and arrived very late.
Jsme tam měli být, Alice mě sežere. Ahoj, zlato. Jdeme trochu pozdě, ale...
By this point, Ivan and Alice's marriage was no longer as passionate as it had once been. Their sex life was not going as well as they had hoped either.
Tati, babička s dědou se perou.
In contrast, Alice's parents were still very affectionate with each other, despite their age. Even admired their relationship, although it also made him feel a little awkward. That morning, he couldn't contain his curiosity and asked his father-in-law about it.
Co ti dává ta Marta do jídla? Steroidy?
Máš nějaký problémy. Víš ty vůbec, kolik je na světě krásných ženských?
No co?
Tak tady si to nahrávám. Já potom můžu klidně nadpochodovat do ložnice.
However, someone as innocent as Ivan still could not fully understand his father-in-law's advice. So the older man decided to take his son-in-law to a bar and personally show him what he meant. There, he introduced Ivan to Salota, his young mistress. Salota then started playing pool. It was obvious that she was not a professional player.
Robię ty vlasy. Padają mi do očí.
But her bold behavior left both Ivan and his father-in-law speechless. A little while later, they left the bar.
Měla byste kuráž to se mnou taky zkusit. No tak jedem.
Chcete sedět vpredu alebo vzadu?
A nemůže, bohužel.
Tak dobrou noc.
Meanwhile, Alice wanted to have a second child, but things were still not going as planned. The next morning, the couple went to the hospital together. Ivan was taken into a private room to provide a sample for testing. However, the tense atmosphere made it impossible for him to do so. With no other option, Ivan tried thinking about Salota. But when he finally walked out of the room, the sample container was still completely empty. His marriage was not the only thing causing him trouble. Ivan's newly opened restaurant was also struggling because hardly any customers came in. He felt completely lost and did not know what to do. Then, one day, an unexpected guest walked into the restaurant. It was Salota.
Dáte si něco?
Nechám to na vás. Prekvapte.
Ivan personally went into the kitchen and prepared a special dish just for her. Afterward, Salota invited him back to her place.
Ještě lepší, jako jsem si to představovala. Už od prvé chvíle.
Although her friends were all at home, they deliberately gave the two of them some privacy. That night, however, something unexpected happened.
Dával tuhletu vizitku.
Faced with a dangerous situation, Ivan quickly blamed everything on his father-in-law.
Ani to neskoušej. Já tu tvoji avantýru podporovat nebudu, s tím nepočítej.
Feeling guilty, Ivan brought him blankets, pillows, and some food.
Co jsem jí měl?
35 roků jsem si udržel čistý rejstřík. Kvůli tobě.
Meanwhile, Alice and her mother were talking in another room. Even though she had just thrown her husband out, Alice's mother still carefully prepared clothes and medicine for him.
O každý jsem věděla, co on se všechno navyváděl.
It turned out that she had known about her husband's affair for a long time.
Tak jak to, že jsi na to vždycky přišla?
Protože si je ten blbec fotil.
To jsi mu to všechno jen tak odpustila.
Co pak by ti mužský koupil kabelku od Valentína, jen tak?
As expected, he tried to make things up to her by giving her another designer handbag. But that day, one bad thing after another happened. While Ivan's father-in-law was at home getting everything ready, he finally realized that it was already too late to make up for all the mistakes he had made. After that devastating shock, the former ladies' man decided to change completely. Without his wife by his side, his daily life became much more difficult.
Tomu říkám horká linka.
Nevíš, kam maminka schovávala cedník?
Alice did not want to see her father continue falling apart, so she encouraged him to find someone else to keep him company. While his father-in-law was suffering because of his past mistakes, Ivan continued seeing Salota. That evening, Alice had prepared a surprise for her husband.
Já jsem dneska strašně uvaný, já mám.
Refusing to give up, she took matters into her own hands and helped Ivan provide the sample for the test. The following day, she took it to the hospital.
Manžel je plodný jako 20letý kluk.
A v čem je to?
Dejte tomu čas.
Meanwhile, Ivan continued using tennis as an excuse to secretly meet Salota. From that point on, however, he constantly came up with new dishes. His restaurant became more and more popular, and business began to thrive. Not only that, but the spark between Ivan and Alice gradually returned as well.
Kde jsi přišel najednou k takový kondici, ty?
Alice was incredibly happy and even told her father all about it.
Prostě je teď plnej elánu.
Takže jsi šťastná.
Knowing that his son-in-law was still seeing Salota, Ivan's father-in-law gently advised him to stop before things went too far. But Ivan could not stop. He had become completely obsessed with Salota and believed that he could somehow balance both his family and his mistress.
Mám to pod kontrolou.
On Christmas Eve, Salota missed Ivan so much that she went all the way to his house to see him.
Zbláznila ses?
A toto je pre teba. Ta stará by mohla byť podozrivá.
Moc děkuju.
As she watched him walk away, Salota could not help feeling deeply hurt and disappointed. The next morning, Salota unexpectedly showed up at Ivan's restaurant and asked for a job as a waitress. Alice thought she was perfect for the position.
Charlotte, prosím vás. Můj manžel a tady šéf kuchyně. Charlotte.
Not only did she hire Salota, but she also invited her to stay at their house and take care of her father. Just like that, Salota moved in with Ivan's family. However, Ivan had no idea that Alice was also secretly involved with a male employee at the restaurant. Meanwhile, Ivan's father-in-law noticed a mysterious tulip lying in front of his late wife's grave. He immediately took the flower home. And that was when he discovered the truth. It turned out that while she was still alive, his wife had regularly met with a massage therapist. The next day, he waited outside her grave.
Naproti, už jsem vás tady několikrát zahlédl.
Propracovávali jsme se k sobě velice dlouho. Láska na první pohled.
Proč zrovna tulipán?
Její manželí stále cpal jen růže. Třeba vůbec netušil, jak miluje jejich vůni.
They had lived together for many years, yet as her husband, he realized that he had never understood her as well as another man had. That evening, he sat alone, quietly looking through old photos of his wife. In the end, he decided to forgive her. After hearing his father-in-law's story, Ivan finally decided to end things with Salota. The two of them agreed to meet at an upscale restaurant.
Charlotte, já ti musím něco říct. Musíme to skončit.
Tam tě neurobila škanda, čo?
However, Alice accidentally found out about their meeting.
Ne.
Salota calmly invited her upstairs so they could talk privately.
Byl.
There, Salota revealed that she was pregnant. Fortunately, Ivan's father-in-law immediately stepped in and claimed that the baby was his. Even though the child was actually Ivan's, this meant that Salota could at least remain close to the man she loved. In the end, both Alice and Salota became pregnant and later gave birth. Everyone continued living happily together under the same roof. As for Ivan's father-in-law, he returned to the place where he and his wife had once shared their memories. And that is where the movie comes to an end. What do you think about this unusual ending? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching until the end. Goodbye, and I'll see you again in the next movie.